Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Rohan No Deaths run, where the goal is to meet our campaign objectives while keeping every faction on the map in play. And to that end, we are attacking an army that is besieging one of our settlements way far away in North Rune, just north of Dorwinion here, north of the Sea of Rune itself. And we are facing an army of North Rune. It's got a lot of skirmish types. It's got some cav and infantry, but it should not be much of a problem. We also have the reinforcements of our heir to add to the army of our king. I'm just going to make sure that's really double-clicked. Actually, you know what? It might be good to give him independent command upon the battlefield. Let's do that because, well, we'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking that the army that we're facing, the North Rune army, is not so terribly threatening that he won't be able to handle it, even as an AI army. If there were a bunch of spearmen and a bunch of, family member type cavalry in that force, I would be a little more concerned. But I think between the two armies that we've got, it should be a pretty straightforward fight. Okay, so they're going to be coming from somewhere over here to our right, and the enemy is probably going to be up on the hills or in the trees somewhere. So we want to get our archer cavalry out, followed by our skirmisher cav, I guess. We've got our two family members, one of which commands that very large unit because it's the heirs, or the kings rather. And then we've got our other lancer cav, which will be sort of making up the front, I suppose. And in terms of ranged, we've got a bunch of slingers. I guess it might make sense to use them first because we're not facing so dangerous of an army really that we can't afford to take our time in approach.
Reinforcements have arrived, but are they in time to take part in the
The
battle?
problem is that our reinforcements are right there, so they're going to be coming a lot quicker. So we are going to want to run, I'm deciding. And let's see what that reinforcing army looks like. Of course, the main element in that is the heir, and I can tell here this is the larger unit size. And then we've got another family member here. So those are going to be the two main elements of that army. So we're going to have to run in the hopes that they don't get themselves into too much trouble. If the terrain had been slightly different, if we'd attacked from maybe a different angle so that they wouldn't have started so close to the enemy at the beginning of the battle, maybe I wouldn't feel like we need to babysit them quite so much. Fortunately, we've got a lot of cavalry that we can throw in to assist. Looks like they do have one unit of slingers. The other ranged guys are short-range skirmishers, so that should be no problem. Let's bring the horse archers kind of around, though. Okay. I think maybe we'll go after the mountain raiders with just this entire force and let our skirmish and sling troops just kind of deal with whatever they're going to deal with. But these guys are going to be weak enough that we could probably hit them with our horse archers and do a lot of damage. We took out that wing of cavalry. There is still the captain's unit of cav. Alright, we're already seeing some routing over here on the left. Very good. So we may run into the axemen here. In fact, let's actually pull through and ensure that that happens. Sounds like they're giving a flee order. We will catch the captain's unit. And so let's do as much damage as we can here. This is obviously going to cost us a lot in terms of our own units. But I'd like to do a ton of damage to them to prevent them from just, re-sieging us again.
The enemy general flees.
Alright, we're going to follow this up. Alright, there goes the enemy captain. And we have taken out almost enough. Just a few more seconds of following up the route. Yeah, we're over 86%. So let's go ahead and end it right there. That should be enough for this army to just dissolve. We do also have a siege going on to the south, and that is the siege of Belagant, the capital of Dorwinion. Now, that's a much more important settlement in some ways. It's more, economically valuable to us. It also is a chief city, so it allows more options when it comes to building. And we want to keep that. That's a place for us to retrain our local mercenaries, which is, one of our chief, reinforcing elements here. And the city itself does not have a huge amount of population, but we can train some pretty good stuff, Riders of the Mark. So let's bring down... actually, you know what? I think we could probably hold off whatever this is. Yeah, it's just 3 axemen, some slingers, skirmishers, and warband. I think we could, if they want to assault, I think we could totally deal with it. So maybe what we want to do... I'm debating doing something like taking Fornhud. I mean, that might be a decent option. It would, of course, put us right up against Rune, and that's the only thing I'm hesitating about. The fact is, Dale is having trouble holding on to Gwaithring. So I think we have to sort of play cautious here. Dale is moving right through this territory, on their way probably to reinforce this, and we need to see what's going to happen with that settlement. So let's turn our attention back over to the west, where we have taken Lastbridge, Rivendell. We've done a lot of housekeeping around here, and we're trying to hold out against the assault of spies of Tharbad, who are still causing all kinds of public order problems. We have some settlements under siege, and we did we have 1 season before we're going to finish Outland Dominion here. So that's very nice indeed, and we're keeping Dunfad under siege as usual. I think that's where we're going to end the season, though. And then we can just get our spies moving where we need them to go. All right, yeah, the Beornings want trade, and we are going to deny that. All right, looks like a spy going into Tharbad, a spy going into 3 ways. We'll see how bad this gets. Okay, that's doable. This is all going to be made a little bit easier because we do have Lond Dare having just finished that Outland Dominion. So we should be, public order should be a little bit better, but 35 is really unworkable. We just can't deal with this. Completely ridiculous. And there's really not much we can do. We have agents here. It's not like we don't. This one, neither of these guys is well enough, established in the settlement to get the network trait, which gives them some bonuses. So that's a bit unfortunate. We may lose Tharbad to a rebellion, and there's just not a whole lot we can do. We can queue up as many soldiers as we want. We can retrain these units, but you see, this does not move the public order. Even with all of that, let's get rid of these retrainings and see if that would go. Okay, it gets us up to 40. So really, there's not much we can do. We just need to wait for this spy to get out of here or die at the hands of our own spy or old age, I guess. Given that, there's not a whole lot of point in us holding on. We may as well just keep pushing towards the end. We've got Ridmalin under siege, and there's 2 other settlements we can get here. This has 3 seasons to go. We've got the ruler here. What we're going to be doing in the north is pretty much leaving Tharbad with this territory. It's a nice, stable front. Neither Tharbad nor the Reunited Kingdom has really made much progress up here, and so that's liable to keep them busy for a long time. What I'm thinking about doing, though, now is actually expanding this way. We can leave Tharbad alive up here. We can certainly, take our time and grab these settlements. But what we can do in the meantime is grab the High Pass stronghold, and that may open us up to take some territory from the Beornings. Now, this is going to be a little weird. It's going to make our borders very strange, but the Beornings, I'm theorizing, are going to be a relatively easy territory for us to hold. Of course, this is not going to be, but we can see what we can do. Let's get out a bunch of our cavalry, or at least merge some of these units together. And we'll move some of these guys back into the settlement, just as a garrison force. Now we've got a full stack, and we can head east towards the High Pass. There's probably going to be a lot of orcs and maybe wargs and trolls even, so we'll have to see how that battle progresses. But it'll open up this front, which may be very useful in a moment, because as we've seen, yeah, the Beornings are not really respecting our boundaries too much. They've definitely moved across the border of the, what is this, the Limelight? Yeah, they've crossed down from Fairfeld, and they're down near Woldburg. So we may as well, since we've got a bit of cash, we may as well just kind of keep training stuff. Let's get some archers. Let's get some more light lancers down here. And then we'll do the same down in Aldburg. And Edoras, you know, we could go for some Riders of the King's House. It might be good to have a scary family member unit who can sort of command the eastern front here if this starts to unfold the way I expect it will. But in the meantime, while that's happening, we can send our hunting armies down to the land of the Druidine. That's something we were going to do last episode. So let's move these cavalry closer. We'll see if we're going to be attacked here by these Pukul men. We've got Druidine warriors here. And this is a unique unit for the mod. This is only a rebel unit, though. You cannot train these guys, sadly. But it makes sense, right? They're not really a unit that you would expect in the 4th Age for a faction, or even in the 3rd Age, for anyone to, you know, control and send out to war. But if you go over here, you know, to the western extremity of the White Mountains, you can find them living in their small villages. Very, very dangerous. So they're effective against armor. They get a bonus fighting riders and against large creatures. Combat bonus in the woods. Very good stamina. They're not frightening, but they are, you know, a very formidable unit despite their total lack of armor. So what we'll be trying to do is bring our other units down. We've got some more cav, I guess, that we'll add to this. And this is going to be a bit of a weird fight because they've got a lot of javelins. We've got a lot of cav. We'll see how it goes. So sort of a throwback to the old hunting expeditions of Rohan against the wild men. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all I want to do this season. Yeah, we'll leave this army here. If they don't build some rams soon, I think we will have to attack them. And yeah, Dale has taken this back. So we're just keeping our eye on this war, seeing how it all goes. Okay, Dale wants an alliance and trade rights. We do share a border technically, but no. Okay, Beornings moving back north. And we have not lost Tharbad, so wonderful news. Sometimes when you have these, rebellions, these spies, they just do a bunch of damage. You get a relatively minor rebellion. We did not get notification about it, but you get this damage done to the buildings. You get a bunch of people killed, and so that's why our population growth is actually falling. I'm okay with that, to be perfectly honest. We do not need to have a high population growth in a place where spies are causing things to be much worse. So this allows us to have a much higher percentage of our actual garrison count because it's relative to the able-bodied population in the city as a whole. So that's actually fine. Tharbad is probably scrambling some troops to try to defend down here. 2 seasons, though, and I'll have it, so I'm not too concerned. We'll move our troops over towards the high pass, check out our news here. And, yeah, we may want to just go ahead and start moving some of these guys together. But we'll just keep an eye on the Beornings. We'll continue to do that. They've definitely taken the Brownlands, and we'll see what they're going to do next. We are the most advanced, and we have lost a bit of cash, but that's fine. Let's go right up here on the hillside. I don't think it'll matter too much, and we're going to maintain the siege. What we want, if they're going to attack us, that would be better, honestly, than us fighting a siege battle or assault, where they're going to have a massive advantage inside the city streets. So that's that. Now, we could theoretically turn our attention to some Dominion buildings. Let's see. A likely candidate might be Lastbridge, but I'm a little nervous about it. With the spy being so active in this area, I'm just worried that we're going to lose even more public order as a result of having fewer of these Dominion buildings around. So we'll just wait a little bit longer. Now in the south, We do have some armies operating around here, keeping an eye on our allies of Far Harad. And we've made a nice little buffer for them. Now, I'm a little concerned now that we have Harandor, who seems to be moving in against Harad. Harandor is doing very well for themselves in this version of the campaign. They've taken Lower Herodwaith, and if they present themselves near Umbar City, we may have to go to war with Harandor to save Harad, because that's part of the game. Now, Harad does still have Harlorn, but that may not be enough to keep them alive as a faction if all their family members are getting killed in Umbar. So we'll have to just, again, keep our eye out for that. And the other thing we'll need to watch is the capital of the Dunlendings here, Dunfata. So they got 4 more seasons. If this gets too close to falling, and we're not aware of it, we could accidentally eliminate the faction, and then it's, you know, game over. All right, we do have a full stack here, but I think bringing in these extra troops, you know, really close to where you're besieging the city, I think it offers the AI a better look at your military strength, so it may be a useful thing to do regardless. So we are training people in Tharbad. I'm wondering, though, if we need to anymore. 75, 70. Okay, well, let's retrain. And that gets us to 70. Let's go 2 more to get us to 75, just to give us a little bit of room for error. And here we see Tharbad moving down towards Ridmalin. They've got only a single season left. And Beornings are sending agents into our cities. So we'll wait for that to fall, but we can now get our armies into place outside the High Pass stronghold, where they do have Olog High as well as wargs. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and put that under siege, though. I guess we could start building stuff to assault, theoretically. I imagine they're going to sally, but it's a pretty weak force, it looks like, so maybe they won't. Let's see. Making any rams yet? Yes. Okay, good. So they will assault at some point. And then we don't have to rush to save it. The other thing I could think about doing is conquering some of this other territory and, you know, holding it, but then conquering the next place and giving it to North Rune. If I were to do that, though, to expand any further east, I'd be going to war with Rune. And for obvious reasons, I'm a little hesitant to do that. They've got armies just moving at will through the area here. So we'll be waiting. We'll be playing the long game here. Okay, so we're getting a sally. And because of the way they're doing it, they're not going to get the reinforcements of their other army. This is the ruler, but I'm sure they've got other family members, and this is a pretty underwhelming force. That said, our force is also pretty underwhelming, so we'll see how it goes. So let's get everybody off rams, first of all. And probably the ones we want catching all those javelins will be our Ariador spearmen, who will rush up towards the front line. We've got all kinds of archers, though. So move them up too. X-Men I want to preserve in case we actually need to do some fighting. But we do have these Cav mercenaries. So they could be useful in chasing off either the skirmishers that are coming or, you know, as flankers for the king. And he is back here, commanding this unit of Merchant Guard. A very large unit for what it is, but again, I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward one. We'll let them get forward. We'll let them throw some javelins. The king's going to run in, which is nice. Let's get our cavalry around to flank. And our archers are going to deal with these scouts. No one else is in the city, so we eliminate them. We get these guys to rout. We will be all set. Going for the charge. There's the king right there. But he withstood that initial charge. They're down very quickly, though. These Ariador Rider mercenaries do have a pretty decent, charge as well as staying power. And there he goes. That's the end of Tharbad's king. A very quick battle as I expected. And we now get this settlement of Ridmallen, which is not too great, but it does at least have walls. And it's another safe settlement for us to take. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and lay desolate, even though there's basically nobody here. Very, very bad public order in our Tharbad territories. Worse than I would have expected. But I guess it's due to the culture penalty. 50%, which is slightly higher than you would think. We also have the distance to capital kicking in, and 65% unrest, which seems high. The official alignment here... Oh, our faction leader is probably a shadow follower. And yeah, this guy's a follower of darkness. He's an Eisenmarcher, so... You know, you're going to occasionally get these guys who are not the ways of the West. We did a bunch of retraining, and we got a coming of age. Okay, so maybe we can cancel... let's see. Yeah, let's cancel the training we were doing down here in Edoras. Oh, nope, too late. We're going to have to live with him. Actually, this guy's pretty decent. So here's our governor here, who's doing a great job at running Edoras, it looks like. But we have this guy, competent governor, competent commander. He's an Eisenmarcher, he's shadow-touched, okay. So he's basically a half Dunlanding. But he's got some pretty decent traits, energetic and intelligent. You know, overbold and faithless are bad, but those can be worked on theoretically. Okay, so let's get him with the other forces we're going to bring. Move him up towards Woldburg here. And at the High Pass Stronghold, we're just keeping it under siege. I'm encouraged that they did not rush right out. Okay, so there's this full unit of Hill Trolls. Not Olog High, but the Hill Trolls. Basically a full unit of Wargs, it looks like. And a couple full units of Orc Champions. So this is going to be a bit tricky. The ringleader is going to be Medium Cav. Basically our Ariador Rider mercenary types. But against that, we've got, I think, plenty. So we should be good. We can even deal with the trolls to some extent with these Dunlanding mercenaries. So hopefully that'll be good. The other thing that I'm hoping is that Tharbad does not move, at least in the north. I don't want them to attack me, of course, and I don't want them to attack, you know, United Kingdom and vice versa. They've got a lot of men here. Oh, very interestingly, they've got Lossoth warriors as well. These can only be trained... from here, which Tharbad has, the Ice Bay of Forochel, and they're a very cool unit. I like them a lot. They are effective against armor, combat bonus in the snow, javelins, just a very neat unit. And so it's fun to get them when you're playing a Manish faction who can do that sort of thing. But I don't think they'll be super effective, although you never know. But it looks like these guys were unable to come to the aid of Ridmallen, so that leaves the question of what do I do with the place. We've got kind of a bad governor for it, so maybe I can get away with taking him out, leaving a bunch of these spearmen behind. Actually, yeah, that's quite good. Okay. And we've got a lot more spearmen coming here. So we can sort of slow down that production. I'm not sure what this group of forces is going to do. They may follow us westward, because that's where we're going next. We're going to grab pretty much all the spearmen we can handle. Alright, that'll be good. And what kind of forces do these settlements have? Okay, not too much. Garrison size is small. Of course, I do not know what the actual armies in the field look like, if anything. But I think we'll be okay, so we'll just move through there. And now it is time probably for us to ask for protectorate status from Dunland again. We'll do a look around for emissaries, but I don't think there are any in the region. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and ask. We'll remove the siege. I know we've got another turn left, but we may as well give them another look. Let's go ahead and demand for overlordship and offer all of our money. And they're going to say no. It's a bit low in terms of cash, so I guess it makes sense. We'll just keep them under siege. Again, we don't need them as a protectorate. We're doing this to keep them bottled up. And it looks like The Reunited Kingdom is going to grab Arendal, which I would prefer to have, but maybe they'll lose it again. 3 turns before the Druidine give up. That may put us in a dangerous position with regard to the Reunited Kingdom because they may not have anywhere else to expand and may decide to bother us, but we'll have to see. There's that Beorning spy. Alright, it looks like he may have been killed trying to get into the city, and we have an assault. Alright, so they're bringing ladders and siege towers and rams. I think we'll be fine. Certainly, in terms of infantry, they're going to beat us there, but we can get our cavalry out, maybe, and do a lot of damage just with our family members. Oh yeah, we've got 2 units of Riders of the Mark. We've got a couple of these mercenary light cav. We've also got some horse archers. We should be all set. Now the actual enemy is going to be over here. Okay. So I guess it makes sense for us to get right in front of this wall. And we'll just get everybody out here and deal with it later. I guess we could bring our infantry around as well. It might be good to have slingers up here to do some damage. Pretty much on any of these troops. And archers also. But everyone else can probably stay back there. We'll get these guys all off skirmish mode. So we've got like 2 axemen units, maybe 3. And then we've got some skirmishers, warband, and slingers. And the slingers are the bodyguard, so I think what we'll do is we'll just charge our family members straight up. Let's get our horse archers over in this direction. Riders of the Mark over here, and the light lancers, let's have them go over here. What we want to do is start disrupting these siege equipment. Even if we don't kill all of them, once they start to fight, they will actually stop hauling like the rams and the ladders and stuff. So it is a good move to do that. In fact, to that end, I think I'll bring my light cav over there, even though they're not finished coming out of the gate yet. Yeah, we are engaged in some fighting here, so they've stopped pushing the ladder, as you can tell. We're taking some losses.
The enemy general flees. Press forward so the spirit of his army is broken too.
Alright, but you can see we stopped the ladder there, or the siege tower, and we'll here charge right into those warband. Should be able to take the enemy general out. There he goes. And that's going to certainly hurt the morale of these guys. We'll bring them down. Alright, they're trying to push the siege tower again, so we'll charge in again. This is mostly to buy us time, really. They're doing a lot of damage against our light cav, but these are mercenaries that we can replace. Alright, horse archers did get caught there, though. That's less good. Alright, Riders of the Mark, how are you going to do on this? Alright, very good, actually. Everybody's routing. The captain is dead. We got 93% enemies killed. And so that's a signal for us to end, claim our clear victory, and basically watch that army melt away. So this is going to leave us with no enemies around Belligant. But Northrune may, of course, take some of its armies and threaten us again. They're attacking Belligant because they do have access to it via the border right here. So they border us with this settlement, so that means they can basically choose Belligant as a target. But we're being attacked in the field by this army. And this is a big one. We've got 2 family members, and it's a full stack, although some of these units here certainly leave a lot to be desired in terms of numbers. Okay, they've got some good stuff. They've got some great axes of rune, some spearmen of rune, enough cav to be a threat, and a few slingers to boot. So let's do it. We've got our heir commanding his force under AI control again, so hopefully that'll work out well enough. But this time the difference is we get to choose the battlefield. So we get to decide, to some extent, where we're going to deploy. And they're going to have to come to us. And our reinforcements are going to come from behind us also. So that's actually very nice. I think we'll just get up here on the hill. The enemy is going to be deployed right around here. I have no desire to fight in the woods, but we can, use the woods to hide some of our troops, I guess. But let's, as usual, get the slingers out front and get the javelin throwers behind. Here's our line of lancers, followed by the king's unit and the other general.
Your reinforcements have arrived. This is hopeful.
All right, there they are. It looks like I've left a unit behind. Okay, so I left one of these Ravanian scout levies. Okay, they're being very aggressive. So we're going to bring everybody up too. I really don't like how they're doing this. This is not the heir, but it is a family member who's possibly going to get himself killed here under the trees for no reason. We'll get close just in case it looks like we can be useful, but I'm not going to compromise the whole army for this guy. So looks like he is pulling back. Alright, then maybe what I should do is run these guys down also. Alright, he's clashing with... Okay, so some light cav. That's Chieftain's Guard, actually. Let's send the Lancers in. Okay, here's some Mountain Raiders. I think we can do pretty well against them. There's Chieftain's Guard there. Alright, let's turn and deal with these guys. Yeah, Riders of the King's House, only 6 men left. They are screwed. I don't think we can save them. We're going to want to pull back. One thing that we may hope is that we start hitting them with our slings and thus drawing their attention towards us and out of the trees. Oh, yeah, there's the heir. He's looking pretty good, but we do have these great axes of North Rune. There's also a bodyguard unit. Let's charge in there. We're just going to skirmish away over here, causing some routing already. Going after the Chieftain's Guard over there with our couple of family members going into these great axes. I think we're going to do pretty well. If they turn around and start fighting, though, we're going to take losses. Alright, they're routing. Alright, what is this? Axemen should be okay. Good. Let's pull over there and start dealing with that unit. Alright, Spearmen of Rune are routing. So something happened to cause that, which is great. I think we'll be able to push these guys into a rout pretty quickly. Mostly just axemen and these other light units left. There's some slingers. Let's go after them. Alright, I think we've got everything wrapped up at this point. We haven't gotten the message that everything is finished. There we go. So we'll continue that. I think we still have some work to do before we get to our 85%, but we will get back to the campaign map shortly. Alright, that threat's taken care of. And that did a pretty substantial number on the armies of North Rune in the area, but they're going to train more. So we've got assistance being requested from Eofared the Hunter, who is... Oh wait, no, that's my guy. Okay, so I guess it's this army, or possibly this one, attacking one of these. I don't expect we'll actually see a battle. Yeah, because we were attacking a very small army of Harad, it looked like. Did that mean that now we're at war with Harad again? Yeah, probably. Alright, did we lose a family member? No, it didn't. Doesn't look like it, but it said heroic death. Whose death would that be? Well, at any rate, we can continue moving these guys into the west. It looks like, okay, they may be coming back after Ridmallen, but honestly, I could recapture that pretty much at will. Let's move further into the west and see what it looks like. I'm mostly checking to see if there's any big armies in the area. And there do not appear to be, so we'll just go ahead and put Ether Barain under siege. Now, if they're going to besiege Ridmallen, I'm fine with that. Just let them do it. We'll take care of this, take care of that, and come back and deal with that again. And that should be all set. We've got several settlements under siege now. And expecting the Pukul men to sally in the next turn or so. Now, up here we did do, again, a lot of damage to North Rune, but they have more forces. And again, I just don't see that it's worth it to take any of their territory, which is just going to put us up against a much stronger enemy. You know, if anything, Fornhud would be the one to take, because it only adds 2 provinces to the borders we have. That'd be this one and this one. Whereas if we take Yar Helkar, we'd still have to worry about this, this. Yeah, actually just those 2. But still, it also feels like a little further away. It would have Fornhud to worry about. So this one, it just feels better to take this one. It's also a chief city. Unfortunately, Rune is not a problem for us at the moment. Let's move off of Harad's territory, I guess. I think everything here is looking fine. And similarly, no attacks out of the high pass. Okay, this is the Beorning War we've been kind of expecting. Alright. Oh, there's a big army here. You know what? Do I want to pull back? Well, let's see. If they sally, I'm going to just withdraw, because I'd rather have the Beornings fight against these guys than me. If they're going to sally, even if it's at the last turn, I'm just going to leave and the Beornings can deal with it. Once they do, we'll have another border to fight, but I'll have all my men and they'll have lost some to wargs and orcs and stuff. So, we're no longer allied with Rovanian. We are at war with the Beornings. And that will give us some opportunities. We could move to the Brownlands, actually, which is kind of nice because it would be another settlement that gets us a little closer to our region in Belagant. We could go up Fairfeld. A lot of these places, too, are pretty safe in the sense that they're only bordered by the elves. And so that means we're going to be basically sharing a long border with a pretty peaceful neighbor. The elves are not going to be attacking us. And characteristically, the AI has pretty much matched the force by sending not a full stack at Woldburg. So what they have inside here, oh, this is a lot. So they've got Woodman Riders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of them, and, you know, some other units. It's the cavalry in a way that I'm oddly most worried about. But I've got my own cav. So I think we can do this. We can get into Woldburg and we can get our reinforcements to join us. Let's just do a quick look around first to see if we're missing anything. So here's Arendal. fallen to the Reunited Kingdom, but they're liable to lose it to a rebellion. And in one season, we'll have this place. We also have Dunfata, which has got 7 seasons to go. Again, that's not one we're really going to take. Red Malin is not under siege. It looks like the armies are probably shadowing me and maybe going to counterattack pretty soon over here. But yeah, if we can take High Pass Stronghold without losing any men, I'll do it. And then we'll have to worry about the Beornings, no doubt, attacking us. But at least then we'll have another settlement. But we do have to start training even more stuff. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and we'll get some Rittermark spears. We want to get, you know, kind of some decent cav here. Or really just anything. The other thing that will be useful is archers, because the Beornings do field their own. Okay, pretty evenly matched. But Beorning units are kind of, you know, not to be underestimated. Especially those riders. That's the only cavalry they can train. But they're a pretty versatile unit. They've got actually a decent charge, if I remember correctly. Okay, there we go. But we're attacking this time, so as long as they stay somewhat stationary, then we can be the ones delivering charges. Okay, I don't know why we're going into this weird formation, but if we get to deliver the charges, we can do a lot of damage to these guys. They don't have the best defense, as you can tell. So I think because of that, we're actually going to want to probably not wait for the archers. We'll go up here. And these ranged cav units will sort of follow along. I don't want to encourage these units to charge my own archers. Alright, so they're sending out their archers. Alright, let's everybody just run away from them. They're going to get some shots in, but I think that's acceptable. If we charge them, I'm worried that they're all going to pile in and we'll lose. So it's kind of more important that we stay away from those riders at the moment. I think we can run up now. Yeah, see that kind of thing. But what now we can do is hopefully pull them away from each other. And we'll be ready to do like this. So we're basically destroying these units one at a time. Alright, that's already routing. And if they just stay like this, you can get in a charge and pretty much destroy them rank by rank. Morale is not the best either. But if they all act together in a melee, they can do a lot of damage. Alright, it looks like they're going to try to withdraw. They did not bring their best. Yeah, the Beornings are definitely capable of bringing some very frightening units. All of their tier 3 stuff is scary, basically, if I remember. They've got Beorning Axemen, they've got dogs they can train, which are very difficult to deal with. They've only got 1 unit of archers, too, but that's very solid. And so it could be a really difficult enemy. But I think we get our forces together up here, and we should be in a pretty decent position to deal with it. Now, I kind of feel like I may as well go ahead here with the Captain's Feasts. Why is this doing so much of a problem? Oh, because the official... Our faction leader went cultic, and so that means that any place that does not have a alignment building is going to default to the faction leader's alignment. So all the Ways of the West people are like very confused by my faction leader there. But we'll get this built, and this will allow us to get some of these. So we can get some light cav joining us, which is interesting because this is the only place that allows that. Dolbaran, of course, will give you the Dunlandings. But we do get one fort, the Hold of Dunharrow, which allows you to train some cav out of it. Very useful given that fort population is very small. Okay, we're attacked again. Oh, and interestingly, we're attacked by this giant army right at the High Pass stronghold. They're not even going to wait for that to fall. Very unusual behavior. Usually the AI will not do that. So the good news is we're not fighting, orcs and trolls. Bad news is here are some of those scary units I was just talking about. The Beorning Axemen, which frighten the nearby enemy infantry, which we do have, a substantial amount. They've also got the Beorning War Dogs, which frighten everybody. There's no family member here, which is very nice to see. They've got, it looks like 3 archer units and a little bit of cav. With the right application of our own riders, and if we kill the captain unit, which is a cavalry unit, then we could do well here. And if the terrain is good, that's also going to be another big kind of question mark. We're in the mountains. We could theoretically have some very nice terrain to work with, or they could be on the upslope. Okay, I like it. I like it quite a bit. It's not as ridiculous as it could be. It's not as completely stacked in our favor as it could be. But we can get up over here and sort of work over on this kind of plane. All right, we've got those 2 guys for archers. That's it. And we've got skirmishers. This will be really useful, actually, because the Beornings do have a decent amount of infantry in this force. Okay, and then otherwise we've got just infantry. Not going to do too much with this, but I think, yeah, I think that's everything for infantry. Everything else is cav. This would be a great battle to have a lot of family members in, but unfortunately we don't. All right, and just one horse archer unit, and a lot of these light guys. All right, so this is going to be a weird one. Everybody run up here, and then we can get some charges down if we can get here fast enough. The target primarily is going to be this unit. And the war dogs are around, but it's a pretty cool looking handler unit. But we can, I think, charge into them and do enough damage that you can sometimes get them to rout before they get to release the dogs. That's obviously very good. And they're not rushing for the high ground, so they may be facing a lot of punishment shortly. Okay, let's get our light cav over here. I think we want to bring our infantry forward for best impact. And yeah, let's bring the Rittermark scouts. They can shoot over this hill and then retreat pretty quickly. A lot of the Beorning units are also very vulnerable to missile fire because their armor is pretty low. So on the defense, you can usually do a decent amount of damage to them at range. And this is like the best of their best. This is their very elite stuff. Of course, their bodyguard unit is a little better in some ways, but they don't have that here. are already tired. This could be good. We may be getting some friendly fire here. Ah, here comes their... Nope, he's going to go back under cover. Makes sense. But he's going to start losing some men as well. Well, let's throw everything at him. This is a bit overkill. Very nice. Let's pull straight through. If we can get those Beorning Axemen to route, yes we can, and now we can get back. We're probably going to be sucked into a little bit of melee here. Those guys are utterly tired. Just keep giving them move orders until they respond. Looks like the dogs have gotten released, which is very disappointing. Yep, okay, get out of here. Yeah, there's some Beorning war dogs right there. And there's just nothing you can do about this. You attack the dogs and they're going to go after the handlers, which are way down there, so it's always a bad move. Actually, I guess we are fighting the dogs, but it doesn't seem to do too much. And here comes another unit of war dogs. Alright, that's a spearman unit. We won't charge that head on. Now, I think we could pretty much pull these guys away and our infantry would do a lot of damage to them now. What I want to open up for a charge would be the Axemen units, but they're, of course, presenting spears to my cav, so... Maybe a gap here, though. Try to get through to some of these archers or the handlers of those war dogs. We do have this infantry, so I'm kind of glad I have them now. Maybe I'll just keep pulling back the cav. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the spears. And here we're gonna go right for these woodmen bows. Spears are shaken. Wavering. Alright, there go the archers. A lot of these guys are now just routing, so I think we'll just charge everybody down. We're getting a bit stuck here now that we're running into these spears, but I think the appearance of this cav is going to change that. Our family member, of course, is a fear-causing unit. And those spears are now routing, so we'll pull through. Alright, well, I'm actually glad the Beornings attacked us here. You don't want to be in the field too much putting places under siege, right? So what I was kind of worried about was that they would let me take the fort and then immediately besiege me, and my guys would be starving. I'd get all those bad traits. And then they'd just wait and assault. And then I would be on the confines of a small fort with all this cav that would be basically useless. So that could have been, you know, kind of a disaster had I just let it unfold. But I was, I guess, counting on the idea that the AI wouldn't put me under siege so quickly. At least willing to take that risk. But I'm glad it worked out this way, actually. All right, we're facing another attack by Tharbad. But I think we'll call the episode here. When we come back, we'll resolve this and then see how everything else looks. We're going to be adding another settlement or two to our list, pretty much, because this is going to fall at the end of this turn, which will eventually come, but we'll focus on this for the next time. It looks like we're going to be facing some kind of typical stuff, but, you know, maybe we'll show it, maybe I won't. There's 115 men in here. If this looks like it will be an interesting battle, then I will show it. It certainly looks like it's going to be close, but I'm guessing it might just be a lot of me kiting with archers and then striking with calves. So we might skip past this one. When you come back, then don't be too surprised if we end up with Ether Bahrain and maybe one or two other places. But I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Till then, take care.